There comes a moment in every man's life when he realizes that constantly seeking validation from women is draining his energy, his confidence, and his sense of self. It's a silent battle many men fight without even knowing it, a desperate need for approval, attention, and affection that leads to over-availability. But what if I told you that the moment you stop being endlessly available to women, everything changes? Not just your relationships, but your entire life. This isn't about manipulation or playing games. It's about reclaiming your value, your time, and your purpose. Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds in psychology, understood something profound. Every human being carries two realities, the life they live outwardly and the inner life of their soul. Most men today are trapped in the outer life, constantly chasing, proving, giving away their energy in exchange for a smile or a text back. They've forgotten who they truly are. And that's why their relationships often feel empty, unbalanced, and exhausting. See, when you're too available, when you give everything away, your time, your attention, your emotions, without boundaries, you tell the world, and women especially, that you don't value yourself. And here's the harsh truth Jung hints at through his work on individuation. No one will respect you more than you respect yourself. Think about it. When a man drops everything just to answer a late-night text, when he cancels his plans to be on call for someone who barely invests in him, he's silently teaching people how to treat him. Over time, that lack of boundaries breeds resentment, confusion, and heartbreak. But when you step back, when you stop making yourself constantly available, something shifts. You redirect your energy inward. You begin to cultivate what Jung called the self, that deeper, more authentic version of you that doesn't need external approval to feel whole. And ironically, this is when women notice you more. Not because you're playing hard to get, but because you've stopped needing them to validate you. True attraction, the kind that lasts, comes from self-respect and presence. A man who is grounded, who knows his purpose, who is selective about who gets access to his time and energy, naturally draws others toward him. Women feel this difference immediately. They can sense when a man's world doesn't revolve around them, but around his own mission, his growth, his passions. That's magnetic. Jung taught that relationships are mirrors. They reflect our inner state. If you're always chasing, overgiving, feeling drained, it's a sign of an imbalance within you. A fear of being alone, a fear of rejection, a belief that your worth depends on someone else's attention. But when you stop being overly available, you face those fears head on. You learn to be at home with yourself. You build strength, confidence, and boundaries. And the world responds differently. Suddenly, you're no longer the man waiting by the phone. You're the man living his life, building his dreams, moving with purpose, and women don't just notice, they respect it. The dynamic shifts completely. Interactions become mutual, not one-sided. You stop giving just to get something back, and you start relating from a place of abundance, not neediness. But let me make this clear. Pulling back availability isn't about becoming cold, distant, or detached. It's about balance. It's about no longer sacrificing your well-being just to keep someone else happy. It's about understanding that true connection only happens between two whole people, not one person constantly chasing another's approval. Carl Jung believed that individuation, the journey of becoming your true self, requires withdrawing projections. In relationships, this means you stop projecting your happiness, your self-worth, onto another person. You stop expecting them to complete you. You realize you were whole all along. And when you live from that truth, you stop bending over backwards just to be liked. You stop over-explaining, over-committing, over-giving. You set boundaries with confidence because you finally understand. Your value doesn't come from being endlessly available. And this changes everything. Your relationships become more authentic. You attract people who genuinely respect you, not because you've given them unlimited access, but because you've shown them you respect yourself. Your time becomes precious, and people feel privileged to share it with you. You're no longer the man chasing, you're the man choosing. This shift doesn't just affect dating, it transforms your entire life. You start showing up differently in your work, your friendships, your passions. You stop saying yes to everything out of fear of missing out. You stop tolerating disrespect or emotional games. Your energy becomes focused, powerful, and magnetic. And here's the paradox. When you stop being constantly available, you don't lose people. You lose the wrong people. The ones who only valued you for what you could give them for free. And you make space for the right ones. The ones who meet you with the same respect, effort, and presence you bring. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And you cannot do that while you're bending, twisting, and overextending yourself for everyone else's approval. True freedom, true masculinity, true power comes from within. It's quiet confidence, not loud desperation. It's knowing you have nothing to prove, no one to chase, and nothing to lose by being yourself. So stop being endlessly available. Start choosing yourself. Build a life so rich, so full of purpose and meaning, that people want to be part of it not because you're always there waiting for them, but because your presence is rare, valuable, and deeply respected. When you do this, everything changes. Not just how women see you, but how you see yourself. And that's the transformation that truly matters.